What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, man. We're in Exodus. We're in Exodus chapter 7. We're in verse 3 and 4. Exodus chapter 7, verse 3 and 4. If you haven't read it yet, stop the tape. Check it out. See what I say. Come back. We're going to answer some questions. And if you have read it, man, we ain't going to wait no further. We're going to go ahead and jump in, man. What's going on? What's happening? What's occurring in the scriptures right now? What's actually going on in the narrative? That's the first question that we ask when we're studying the scriptures. This is Trust in Jesus Ministries. We want to help you trust in Jesus as we study the scriptures. This is how we do it. So if you're looking for that, you're in the right place. And I said, let's wait no further. So let's answer that first question. What's happening? Well, God is continuing to tell, or actually more likely it is Moses reiterating the things that God has already talked to him about. Moses is setting the stage again because we had that little reprieve, little break that kind of designated Moses and Aaron as proper people to do the thing that God has called them to. And so now he's getting back into the story when we're going to begin to see all of the wonders and the miracles that God is going to do through the hand of Moses and Aaron to the Egyptians so that his people will be freed. And so he's setting this back up again. And so we all got to know, like, what's going to occur. And so when God is speaking with him, he says, hey, man, you're going to go to him, but he ain't going to let the people go. You're going to tell him. He says, you go, you, Aaron, go and speak with Pharaoh. Tell him, let your people go. My people go. I'm sorry. That's what God says. Let my people go. But when they do that, God says he's going to harshen the heart of Pharaoh. He's going to harden it. And Pharaoh ain't going to let the people go, man. He's going to increase his signs and wonders. He's going to increase the things that he's going to show. So I think maybe that is what God has already shown Moses, and Moses has told Aaron all of these wonders that's going to happen, that's going to occur. And then God is going to do even more than that, because we're going to see all of these plagues that come forth that Moses, or we as the reader, Moses did not introduce to us in the story or in the narrative yet. And so he's going to increase those. He's going to do even more wonders than what Moses has already been shown by God that he is going to perform. And then he says he's not going to let him go. He ain't going to let him go. And so God is going to use a strong hand to pull them out. And he says it with a great judgment too. That's the thing about this, is even though God is moving in a way to try and turn the heart of Pharaoh is not going. It's not going. And the way he treats or mistreats perhaps the Hebrew people, God is going to punish him for. And so this is like a triple thing right here. First off is God displaying his glory. Then God is going to release his people, doing the promise which he promised a long time ago. But then he's also going to punish the people who were severe against his people. He's going to punish them or judge them accordingly. God is doing everything in this. God is doing everything in this. So what does this say about God? Kind of sums it up what I just said just a second ago, is that God is going to display his glory. He's here to see his glory done. That's why it says he's going to increase his signs and his wonders. He's going to show his glory, for sure. But then also he's going to make good in his faithfulness. He's going to be trustworthy. We're going to see him do all that he said he promised to Abraham and more. He's going to do that. But he's also a gracious God, because, and this is a little side note, wasn't in there when I first started, but it is here because the reminder of him keeping this covenant is a gracious covenant towards Abraham, who did not deserve any of this. But then also now the people of Israel, the sons of Israel, the Hebrew people, there is nothing that has caused them to stand out that would make God want to free this people out of a slavery. They're sinful too. And so God is showing graciousness to this people. And then finally, it's a judgment God, a God of justice. Oh man, my words, Paul, words. But he's a just God. And so he's going to show justice through his judgment on the people of Egypt. That's what God is going to do. That's what God is going to do. What does this say about man? I think it talks about, even though God is moving in ways that that affect people and their hearts, it is still a, it is still us who does the action. It's still us who does the action. Um, Man, I'm trying to think. There was a movie that I just watched, or a TV show that I just watched, and the guy set up all of these things to occur, putting people in the places and setting them in route to be able to do something. But in the case that all of these things happen, it was still the will of the person. Even though he was placed in all these situations, it was still the will or the decision of the individual that caused the action to happen. Man, I wish I could think of what that movie was called, man. But he was like, nah, bro, I authored this situation. He moved it, but it was the will of the individual. And so I think this is exactly how this is that God says that he harshens the heart of Pharaoh, which this is some tough stuff right here. It's a warrant or something that people usually ask about is how is this person responsible if God is the one that caused it? And God may be the cause of this action because he's sovereign and control over everything. But in the end, it is God who is in sovereign control. But it was man who made this decision. Pharaoh made this decision. His heart was set in a way, as a good thought, which I've said before, is the sun as it shows its rays and its heat, it hardens clay and melts wax, and Pharaoh hears clay, and so he begins to harden under the sun, the rays of the sun. And so as mankind, we are responsible for our actions. I did all of that. I took all roundabout way just to say that as man, we are responsible for our actions. As human beings, we are responsible for our decisions and the choices that we make. How do we apply these truths to our lives? I would just say make good choices. And that's hard to do. Just to make good choices, it's hard to do. But we've got to look at it in the perspective of who God is. Because in the end, even when we begin to try and make good choices, they don't make up for the bad choices that we've already made. And I've made many of them, man. And so I wanted to take a good look at the graciousness of God. As God is freeing these people, and we know that in the end that this is also a great picture of the freedom that we get through Christ from our sin. And so grace is written all over this. And so for you today, I want to convey the graciousness of God. Because no matter what we want to say, or no matter what we say, position we were put in, had to do, we are responsible for our actions. And this goes both ways. We are responsible for our action. And as God demonstrates his grace, he demonstrates his love through a sacrifice of Christ on the cross. We are responsible to trust in that saving grace through the sacrifice of Jesus, that we might be free from sin as well. We are responsible to make this decision and this choice to follow Jesus, to give our life to him, to surrender. We are responsible for that. And I pray that you make this decision today, because this is the most important decision that you can ever make. And if you've already made this decision, man, I pray that you would walk it out daily, because we are here trusting Jesus Ministries to help us trust in Jesus more. And the first way we trust in him is that saving grace that he gives, that we trust that it actually is effective in our lives, that the judgment that should be upon us is no longer. That's the first trust. But each day we should trust in Jesus more as we give him more of our lives, of our being, of our actions, of our love, control of our lives. Because when we relinquish control, we find so much freedom. So much freedom. So I pray that you do that. If you've already made that decision, I pray you continue to give him more and more of your life. If you trust him with that great thing, which is salvation, man, trust him with all of the little things. And even in the little things, I know they're huge things. Some things are very big. I appreciate you guys for listening. I pray that you would trust in Jesus and meet me in the next episode.